Hey guys, it's Sean from the Comics Pals. We are here live at New York Comic Con 2024. It is Thursday. It is the afternoon, which means that everybody still has energy. I'm sure when we get here on Sunday, it'll be a different vibe. But right now, it's electric. And I am standing next to the man that you guys have asked us to interview more than any other creator. He doesn't believe me, but it's completely true. I am so excited to be talking to the writer of Green Lantern and the writer of The Flash, Jeremy Adams. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm with an intro like that? How can I not be psyched? It's like drinking 3 Red Bulls back to back. What do you want to know? You want my child? I don't know.
Well, I drank 3 Red Bulls before we started, so no, I'm just kidding. So, Jeremy, the Green Lantern book that you are doing right now is lighting people on fire.
Thank you.
Green Lantern is a character that obviously Jeff Johns kind of, rolls back to prominence and did a lot of great stuff with. And then I would say that it kind of was in a dormant space. There wasn't a lot of excitement around the character. But now that you're on the project and you're doing such huge things, how does it feel to be getting the kind of reactions that you're getting to this run?
It's always intimidating, and it's always like, I'm always A, figuring somebody's going to fire me. B, I'll get like 99 compliments, and then some guy will go be like, "You're mid," and I'll be like, "Oh no, I'm mid." And then it's hard because when they took me off the Flash and they put me on Green Lantern, I was really just like, I don't know.
Sure.
And I called Jeff Johns, and he was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And he was so psyched for me that it gave me a little bit of confidence.
Sure.
But massive shoes to fill, And Green Lantern at one point was like the top-selling book in DC Comics, and there's a lot to live up to. So I feel like part of my job is just to tell a really great story and have fun and tell superhero stories, but also to try to buy back readers.
Yeah.
Like I want readers to come back. I want to have enough touchstones that they'll know, oh, I remember that. I remember the good days, and move it into a different direction so that it's exciting for them. But I don't remember your question, but I'm just saying that I'm having fun doing it for sure.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Thank you.
When you got announced for Green Lantern, I remember thinking, okay, they did him dirty on Flash. That's not Jeremy saying it, it's me saying it. They did him dirty on Flash.
I didn't say it.
This is a make good.
Yeah.
I need to be here because I was loving the Flash and I want more Jeremy Adams.
Thank you.
And I think a lot of people came into it from that perspective. What I didn't realize was that I was going to be getting what feels like a pretty epic Green Lantern story.
Well, because Zermanico is doing the art.
Oh my God.
And it's a level of cheating. I could just write nothing and he will make it epic.
I'd pay $3.99 for that.
Oh my gosh. So just knowing that he's there, I can basically it's just this weird thing where he's kind of like my ring. He's building the constructs and I now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to write this just to see what he's going to do.
Sure.
I'm super excited about it. And he's made it so much more epic than you're only as good as your artist. And even then, it's such a visual medium. It's so important to make sure that the collaborators you're working with are feeling, the love. Yeah. And I oftentimes reach out to him or Fernando and just be like, what do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you want? He wanted to see giant mech battles and stuff. I'm like, dude, we're getting to giant mech battles, And of course, it turns out amazing because he loves it. But he's just knocking out of the ballpark. Being able to work on something with somebody that cares for it, that is excited to do it, makes all the difference. And I'm just thrilled to be here. I mean, I'm such a nerd. They let me put my foot in the door, and now I'm like, I'll never leave. So
don't leave.
And then tomorrow we have a big announcement, and I can't tell you, but at the DC panel, another announcement for something. So that'll be fun too.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, with your Green Lantern run, I feel like you've been able to kind of not dictate, but you're telling the space story. You're getting into what's happening with the grand conspiracy and all that stuff with Thoros, which just sort of took a twist, I guess we could say, in the Green Lantern Corps special, which was awesome, by the way. I loved that.
Thank you.
Can you talk about the process of working with Philip Kennedy Johnson on that and
Philip Kennedy Johnson, I think we might have met for the first time either last year here or the year before, I forget. But we become fast friends. He's such a cool guy. He's such an incredible writer in his own right. And so he was doing John Stewart War Journal, and we just kept thinking, how are these going to combine? What are we going to do? And I'm such a continuity nut and DC nerd that I'm like, you did all this work in War Journal, and so we've got to figure out a way that we could just bring this together. And I don't want to lose any of these characters. I don't want to lose any of the story. And so we just kept talking about what could happen. And eventually they just said, well, okay, War Journal's ending. Let's do a bridge issue to like bring all that together. And it was really easy. It was really easy working with Philip. He's a much better writer than I am, so it's great to be like, this is the key, kids. Hitch your wagon to people more talented than you.
There you go.
And then, it's all going to be good. So.
Yeah, I really love the fact that you guys didn't sort of pivot away from what he had established in War Journal, because I did think all that was interesting and additive to the greater lore. Yeah. But I love the fact that you're saying you're such a nerd for some of this DC stuff, because to me, that's what makes DC fun.
I agree. I agree. It's the fact that you're like, it's one continuous universe. And so I'm often surprised when I ask them like, hey, is nobody using this character? And they're like, no, you can use them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just pulling characters from the toy box. And as we get further and further into the cosmology of the DC universe, I'm going to be using tons more cosmic characters. I want people to know this is another section of the universe. I don't want it to feel siloed like it's just Green Lantern. There's a ton of other characters, whether it's Thanagar, Iranians, or Space Cabbie, or whatever. I want to bring a lot of those characters in.
And that's just so fun. That's the fun of it. But your story doesn't lose its heart. It doesn't lose its heart. It doesn't lose its soul. And I really wanted to know what was important to you to sort of bring to the table from that side of things when it comes to Hal Jordan.
So when I got Hal, so my first credit on television was in Green Lantern, the animated series.
Okay.
And so I had an affection for the character from that. But immediately everybody was like, why isn't it Kyle? And they were like, we hate Hal Jordan. And there's a big part of me going, what would it take for me to love Hal Jordan? What would it take for me to make other people fall in love with Hal Jordan?
Sure.
And so that was kind of the way that I wanted to look at it. And not just a hot shot Top Gun pilot, but like something a little deeper. Because in the Flash universe with Wally, I felt like he was a very well-adjusted character. And everybody in the DC universe was focused on legacy characters like Nightwing and Wally and all that stuff. And I thought, okay, there's no Justice League, so this would be a nice pivot to talk about these other characters that are getting older and what it might be for them. Mm-hmm. Seeing the rest of their younger generation kind of like move on. And so there's a certain element of like, and just like him coming home, how much money does he have in his bank account? Like he's such a schlub,
right?
And that started flushing him out as a character. And I remember I was watching Bull Durham with Kevin Costner. I was like, Hal Jordan's Kevin Costner. Like Kevin Costner from a certain age, arrogant, a little snotty, but competent.
Right.
And that helped make it come alive for me a little more.
Well, what I love too is that he's still lovable.
Yeah.
Like he's like a guy that's maybe
a
little hard to love, but
yeah.
You read the book and you dive deeper and it's like, no, this is a guy with heart and soul. You know? This is a guy that is a heroic person, warts and all.
Right.
And he loves people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that when Hal Jordan was created, that kind of like Silver Age persona, it was a cipher. They didn't really go that deep. Not because that's just wasn't what the comic was. But then obviously as Jeff put a lot into him, and I think I'm just diving more into some of the emotional side of it and trying to flesh out the character as a whole person for me, because I want to write him and I want to like him, because if I don't, then he's going to die. But but thank you. Yeah, that's been really fun to do.
So can you kind of tease us a little bit with what you have planned? Obviously, issue 16 just dropped yesterday. Part of the
stuff.
All-In.
Yep.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
So that's what's so funny. The All-In, everybody's like, it's a great chance to jump in. And I'm like, not for my book.
Thank you.
Like, I'm just telling you, I would love for you to read my book, but also you will be lost, and we're finishing up kind of the grand galactic story that we've been telling with Theros United Planets, now Veron and Jon Stewart and all that stuff. And so by issue 18, there'll be a kind of a new status quo.
Okay.
And as we move into next year, there will be a kind of a new all I can tease is everything will be a little the same, but also different. That's all I can say.
Sounds like comics.
Yeah. It sounds like comics. Yeah.
No, but what I want to say is, like, we reviewed the Civil War or the Green Lantern Corps special.
Yeah.
And I was the only person on the panel who was kept up with Green Lantern, and everybody else was able to kind of pick up what you were putting down.
Good.
So I don't think it's a bad place to start. I think you guys should jump right in, dive in the pool.
Yeah, listen to him. Don't listen to me.
It's a fun story. It's Green Lantern. You know him. You love him. It's Hal. And it's John, too. And that's what I love so much about the core story was that it does include John. And you are going back to Varos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it just feels like such an exciting time to be a fan of Green Lantern.
I mean, it is exciting. So get it in now before all the prices skyrocket when that TV show comes out.
Right. The last thing I wanted to ask is, you've played a lot in the DC sandbox, of course. And, you've even done a lot of the animated work as well.
Yeah.
But what about like the creator-owned side? Do you have a part of you that wants to?
Yeah, I was going to do a creator-owned this year, and I chickened out, and then but I have a bunch of creator-owned I want to do. I've been like on a fact-finding mission for the last couple of years, trying to figure out, well, do I do Kickstarter? I pitched to places like Mad Cave. I pitched to places. A lot of times they're like, that's too weird, or whatever. So I think I'm going to end up having to go it alone. But there's a golden handcuff situation a little bit. I'm writing a lot. I'm running a show for Lego right now, and I'm writing these comic books. And so the time quotient is a little slim. But I have a bunch of ideas I want to do, and I just need to buckle down and do it and quit complaining.
Well, the interesting thing about you is that you've generated so much buzz for yourself, really through not too many series at DC.
I mean, fans have been great. So
so that tells me that, like, the iron is hot.
I know. Don't pressure me.
I'm sorry.
I know. I agree. I need to do it. I'm sorry. Everybody guilt me. Text me and guilt me.
Well, you know what? We're gonna give you time now to sit here at New York and start working on your pitch so that you can get that out there because the people need it, the streets need it, Jeremy.
The streets need it. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
Jeremy, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I really hope you enjoy the rest of your con. And if you're here, show this man some love. Show him a love. He needs it.
I do.
He deserves it. Look at his face. It's the face of a man that needs some love. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're live at New York Comic Con. We'll have stuff for you all week, so stay locked here at the Comics Pals all over the place. I'm Sean. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.